time. And of course, we saw our special guest tonight as Jesse Hooker, the leader of a clan of murderous redneck vampires. I think that deserves a look. As you know, we have a very special guest with us tonight. Born in New York City, our special guest tonight studied at the Actors Studio. He worked off-Broadway, and one of his first film appearances was as an FBI agent in Sidney Lumet's Dog Day Afternoon, followed by parts in Sidney Lumet's Network and The Prince of the City. He then appeared in Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with, did I hear some applause? A little smattering of applause for Steven Spielberg. With Richard Dreyfuss and Francois Truffaut in Damien the Omen 2, and in Philip Kaufman's The Right Stuff. Since then, I'm going to keep this short, he's worked with James Cameron on Piranha Part 2, The Spawning, The Terminator, and as an android bishop, or as the android bishop in the science fiction classic Aliens. With Sam Raimi in The Quick and the Dead, with Stan Winston in Pumpkinhead, and so many others. His IMDb list has 179 TV and movie roles. His performance as Frank Black, the retired FBI agent who has the ability to get in the side of the minds of killers, landed him 3 consecutive Golden Globe nominations for Best Performance by Lead Actor in a Drama Series. In addition to his abilities as an actor, our special guest tonight is a very accomplished painter and potter, and he's a father, and he's here tonight. Would you please help me welcome Lance Henriksen to the stage? Extremely long-winded introduction. I feel like I should also.
By the way, it was beautiful.
I feel like I should also mention you have a book out, Not Bad for a Human. It's your life story.
It's on Kindle and Nook and iPad.
Yeah, and I bought it on Amazon.ca, and I'll tell you, there's stuff in here that blew my mind. And I'm going to start, but I had to bookmark this, and I'll get to the movie in a second. But on page 153, you talk about a commercial gig that you had to do a voiceover, very beginning of your career, and it didn't go particularly well. And you said, and it was a lot of money, you were a struggling actor in New York, you needed the money, but you got up and you walked out. It was 50 grand? Okay, so that's a lot of money to anyone, even now, today. So this was quite a while ago. And you say, they probably thought, this guy's an eccentric fuck. And then you say, and they were right.
They offered me 50 grand to say 3 lines. You look good, you feel good, and it shows. And I went in, I was on Broadway at the time, and I went into the booth and I said, you look good, you feel good, and it shows. And then I took the headphones off and would get ready to leave, and I was leaving. The guy said, wait, what are you doing, man? We gotta hit the, and it feels good, you know. And I said, I'm sorry, guys. I just don't want to listen to myself talk, okay? And I left. 50 grand down the drain, just like that. It was so idealistic. It was. I haven't been that way since, but it was.
Did you have a second thought about that as you walked it, as you were walking down Broadway on the way to the theater that night? Did you go, why couldn't I just have gone, and you look good?
Yeah, but you know the idealism of a young actor on Broadway. I mean, I had black and white Tennessee Walker shoes on, and I was actually dating a girl from Chorus Line who had absolutely had legs up to here. It was so bad because I'll just rattle on.
Yeah.
She would wear hot pants wherever we went, walking down the street, you know, in between shows, and all the Puerto Rican guys were going, "Oh, mama," you know, "Oh, baby." And at the end of the night, I was so exhausted. I finally, you know, from defending her, I finally said, I'm done, baby. I can't take this anymore. One story leads to another. Be careful.
It's like the Groucho Marx line. I'll defend her honor, which is more than she ever did.
Did you guys get that? I didn't get that.
So tell me, let's talk about Near Dark before we sort of go a little deeper, dig a little deeper. You were out in the lobby here. When's the last time you've seen the movie?
I don't know how to start this. I've seen it 3 times in the last month.
Oh, wow.
And I got to tell you, the reasons are all different. I mean, one was playing at the Egyptian, and they showed that with Pumpkinhead, and I went there. It was a hell of a mix. But you know, and then another time, I think somewhere in another city. I've been on a book tour, so I'm a little delusional about what exactly happened when. But it kind of holds up. It's got an innocence about it. It's got a kind of. Catherine Bigelow is a matriarchal director. I mean, it's not like working with a guy who talks to you know, little stuffed animals while he's directing.
Story in the book.
Did that make any sense?
Yeah. Tell that story. You can't just drop that and then.
There was a guy I worked with who had stuffed animals in director's chairs while he worked. And I kept wondering what the hell he's talking to them. He does, and I finally got so you know, curious about it that I went and bought a stuffed bear. And I came in that morning and ripped its head off right in front of the guy. And he said to me, "Lance, that's not funny, man. That's not funny." And he was covering their eyes, and it was like, what? And I said, "All right, I surrender, man. Let's just finish this movie. Let's get it over with."
Well, in the book, you don't mention what movie it was. Are you prepared to tell us?
No, I don't want to tell anybody.
Has the guy ever made another movie?
I have no access to Brian. You know, I mean, if I said it, I don't know if that guy would ever work again. You know, I mean.
Has he worked again?
He works in the stuff factory. I don't know if he has ever worked. No, I don't know. But I don't want to know. I don't want to work with him again. My ex-wife, she's my ex-wife now. She was my wife then. We were doing a movie about a guy who comes in from another country, and oh God, I'm going to give this movie away. Anyway, she said to me on the way there, she was really pissy with me, and I said, "What's the problem?" And she said, I've been 14 hours on a cigarette without an airplane." I said, "What?" She was withdrawal. She was in heavy withdrawal, so I put it in the movie. Everything that happens for real, I put in the movie, man. The rest, you know, the rest is just some writer writing in the dark, you know. Anyway.
Well, what do you think? So you've seen Near Dark a few times in the last month. What memories does it bring back for you?
Well, I also see Bill Paxton. I see Jeanette. What we wanted to do is a prequel to this movie. The minute we finished shooting, we wanted to do. Bill and I were already writing it in the hotel room where we were staying in Arizona. We wanted to do a prequel, like start, the minute this stops, let's go do the prequel. We were so enamored with each other and with the material. And remember, this is way before Twilight, you know, that kissing Twilight. I hate Twilight, man. I have seen one that I love, though. It's 30 Days of Nights.
Yeah.
What a movie. When I saw that, I mean, I really, you know, it tested my masculinity, because I saw that, these people were really vicious, and they were really for real. But I thought the whole movie structure was just perfect. Everything about it, yeah.
Surprisingly, you don't find that with the Twilight movies.
Would you like a bottle of blood? It doesn't happen that way.
So the prequel never happened, but...
No, but it's you know, I'll tell you a really interesting phenomenon has happened. I saw Catherine at a screening, you know, like a really early screening of this Hurt Locker. And she walked in, and she's like 6'2", very thin, you know. And I said, "Oh my God, this has been years and years ago that we did the movie." And she looked the same. And I said, "Catherine, are you a vampire?" You can tell me. It's like asking a dog, "Talk to me." I won't tell anybody else, I promise you. "Are you a vampire?" She just smiled, and I went, "Oh shit." Anyway, the prequel. The only way the prequel could ever happen, there's a very interesting phenomenon taking place. Dark Horse Comics asked me to write a comic book. And that's because in this book, all of the art in it is from comic book artists like Sienkiewicz and all these, Tim Bradstreet, and Eric Powell, all these guys they wanted to be in this book. So they just said, we're going to do it. And they sent me all these drawings, and they're all in there. I never asked them, which movie do you want to do? And anyway, Bradstreet did Near Dark. You know, he did a beautiful job on it. But my point of my story.
The prequel, Catherine Bigelow's a vampire.
Yes, they want me to do a comic book of the prequel to Near Dark.
Right.
Now, I put a feeler out to Catherine Bigelow and said, look, if you don't want me to do it, we won't do it. But if you give us the nod, Bill Paxton and I are going to do it. You know, we're going to talk about it because it is. Bill and I got obsessed on where do they come from? Where did Jesse Hooker come from? And he started building this family. And we came up with some great stuff, and so did Bill. And mine was that I was in the Southern Army, not Army, but Navy. And I was on an ironclad. And there was this terrible battle, cannonballs flying everywhere and hitting the deck, and the splinters were killing all the men. And we lost the battle. And so we ended up drifting through the marshes at night in the Chesapeake Bay. And harpies started feeding on the dying men, not the dead men, but the dying men. And my chest was busted wide open and steaming into the night. And a harpy hovered over me and took pity on me. And that's where it started. So this was the work we did to figure out where the hell we came from, because you can't play a vampire. You can only play a nocturnal nomad that is thinning out the herd or the weak or the nasty, you know, for food. But not like Twilight.
Well, I don't think the word vampire, is the word vampire actually used in the movie?
No, nocturnal nomads. No, that's what we were.
Yeah,
we never used vampire. And I had a cross on my gun. And I had, you know, Anne Rice had written these incredible books.